Hello and welcome to my presentation. I am Jorgen. Today I will show you how to set up a dhcp server and a dhcp relay agent on an Ubuntu server system. First we will take a look in the slides for some explanation. dhcp server uses the dhcp protocol that distributes IP addresses to hosts. dhcp is short for Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. Linux has multiple packages for dhcp servers, but we will use dhcp3 server for today. To install dhcp, we will use apt-get install dhcp3 server. Now I'll give you a short explanation on the configuration file before we will move on to the demo. You can find the configuration file at /etc/dhcp/dhcpd.conf. The range, this is the IP range that the server will distribute, with the lowest the first IP and the second the highest IP that the server will distribute to your hosts. Subnet mask, this is your subnet prefix. In this example, this is 255.255.255.0. This is the same as a /24 subnet mask. Broadcast, this is the host IP address that will be reserved to be a broadcast address on your network. Router, this is another name for your gateway. Here the IP must be the one that you have given to your router. Domain name is the name of your domain. If you don't have a domain, you don't have to fill this in. Domain name server is your default DNS to be used by your DHCP clients. NetBIOS name server is specified for a Windows server. If you don't have one, you don't have to use this option. The lease time is written in seconds. If the host doesn't add a request lease time option, the server will provide the default lease time. If the client asks for a time but exceeds the max time, the server will provide the max lease time you have set in the configuration file. Let's say the client asks for 5,400 seconds, 14 hours. In this case he will get only 43,200 seconds or 12 hours. The time zone, also in seconds. I live in Belgium, which use +1 hours. That is why I do 3600. Fixed IPs are for reserved hosts like servers or printers. You link a MAC address to IP address. If the host sends a DHCP request, the server will read this. If you see the host has a MAC address in the IP table you have provided, then he will provide the host with a specified IP. The fixed IP address may not be in the range of what the DHCP server distributes, otherwise there will occur errors on your system. Some useful commands to know are usr/bin/dhcpd -f. This will check your configuration file. If you have errors, your screen will tell you this. Now I will show you how to install and configure the DHCP server in a demo. Like you can see, I am already logged in as administrator or root user, and we will install the DHCP server with apt-get install dhcp3 server. We will let this run. This will be a few seconds normally. Now that this is done, I will give my DHCP server a static IP address, and I will do this in the etc/network interface file. Like you see, the ETH0 is still standing on DHCP, but I want this to change to static. Then I will give an address to my server. Then I will provide a net mask. This is the same that you will use for your subnet. You want your DHCP server in. Then a gateway, so your DHCP server can still go to the outside. Now this is done, I will save this file and bring my interface down to reboot it. like I see this is already done. If dh0, it will bring it up, and if I now do ifconfig, you can see that we have the right IP address that we provided by static. Clear my screen. Now I will configure the server, and I do this in the etc/dhcp/dhcpd.config file. Oh, made a mistake. This must nano, not it is with me nano, not nano. You can see there are already some options filled in for you, like the default lease time, but we will change this to 2 hours 7200 seconds, and the max lease time to 4 hours, and that is 14,400. Now we will scroll a bit down to the bottom and start to write our subnet for the DHCP server. First thing, we'll provide the range. This will be the first IP address my server can provide to hosts, and I will give him so that he only can provide 50 addresses, so I will write 150. Now I will give a subnet mask. This will be the same that you already set. Oh, I forgot point comma on the range 2. I forgot it. Now we will provide a broadcast address. You don't have to fill this in if you want a standard, if you want a default one. If you want to have another broadcast address on your network, you can change this if you want, but it's easy to have this default, and I fill in the default too. Now I provide the router. I always forget point commas. Please don't forget them, because that will make your DHCP server not work. I don't have a domain name, so I don't give one. Now I will give my server a DNS. I will provide also lease times, and I will also now max lease time. And I will also provide one for my printer on this network. I know you will think I forgot it again. Yes, I did. So this is done. This is the subnet for what our router will be in, and give to the same. I will give to the clients that are also in this subnet. I will also create a subnet for the relay agent, but this will be a lot smaller. You can give him a lot of options if you want, but I will keep it very simple for now. Sometimes my buttons don't want to work. I will give him a range. A very small range, like you can see. I will provide him also a router option. This will not be the same router you have seen on the previous subnet, but this will be the router you have to use on your subnet with the DHCP relay agent. Now I will close this and save, and I will test my configuration file. USR sbin dhcp d -f. You can see that I don't have mistakes, but I have a warning, but you can ignore this because we made a really big subnet with 10.0.0.0, and you see this as a global one. Now we're done. I will take you back to the slides and tell you a bit about relay agents. Welcome back to the slides. Now I will talk about the relay agent. A relay agent is a server that captures the DHCP client broadcasts and send a request for them to the DHCP server on a different subnet. We will specify all of the information in the configuration. The DHCP server will send the DHCP package to the agent. This agent will provide the package back to the host. To install, we will be using the ISC DHCP relay package. While we install, a wizard will ask you how you want to configure. First, he will ask for the DHCP server IP address. The second thing he will be asking is on what interface he can receive the DHCP requests from the hosts and send them back to. This will be the host subnet. The third thing are additional options that you want to add to the DHCP server, but we will leave this blank. Configuration is done in the installation. If you want to adjust the setting because you changed the server IP, you can access the configuration file at etc/default/isc DHCP relay. This image is how a physical network will look if you use a relay agent. We see that you need two routers, one for the subnet of the DHCP server and the other one is for the subnet of the DHCP relay agent. You also see that the relay agent has a subnet with 10.0.0.0/24 and the DHCP server has the 192.168.x.x network. Now I will show you how to install a relay agent in a demo. Welcome back. This is the second server console. First thing we will do to install the relay agent is typing apt-get install ISC DHCP relay. This will take a few seconds. Like you see, this is the wizard. The first thing he asks on what server the DHCP relay agent is. The DHCP server from the other network. I hope you remembered the IP address. Mine was this. Second thing he asked is on what interface the relay agent server has to listen on, and that is this one for me. This is the extra options, but we don't have extra options, so this is done. Now he will configure and install the rest of the program. Now this is done, I will clear my screen for you, and I will set up my static IP addresses in the etc network interfaces file, and I will set iFace eth0.inet to static. I will give this one the address 10.0.0.2 because the router will be the .1. The net mask of 255.255.255.0. The gateway is 10.0.0.0.1, and that's the static IP address. I will save and exit this file. Clear my screen. If down eth0 it's not linked, then I can up it again with eth if up eth0, and now my IP is up again. We can check this with ifconfig. Like you can see, I've now inet address 10.0.0.2. This is done, the server is done, but I will show you where you can find the configuration file, and that is here in the nano is your text worker, etc.default ISC dhcp relay, and you can see here that this is your server from dhcp. That is the Ethernet port you have to listen on, and these are the options. If you want to fill things in, you can still do that. Like say we made a mistake here, we can still change the IP address from 1 to 3, but yeah, our server is 1.2, so I will use this one. That's done. We exit this, and the configuration of the relay agent is done. I will take you back to the slides to finish this up. Welcome back to the slides. Like you see, this is the end of my presentation. Now you will be able to install and configure a DHCP server and the DHCP relay agent. Also, we have seen how we will set this up in a physical network. So I hope I have learned you something, and you can use this now for your own or your company.